Hey, Tyler Price here. Today in the 67 Bug, I have Carrie Ragan, owner of Eagle Rock Dance, and just a great person. We're in a group together where we meet once a month and talk. And anyway, I was like, hey, we should drive around in my Bug. And she's like,
let's do it.
Let's do it. So that was awesome. So Eagle Rock Dance. So you've been we'll get going anyway. So you've been doing that for how long?
We're actually getting ready to head into our 16th season.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, so quite a while.
Yeah,
it's definitely been a while. I was pregnant with my second child, going to school, and working 2 jobs part-time when I decided to open it. So
yeah. So what was the driving force to opening your business? Yeah.
Basically, I think owning a dance studio took my 3 favorite things in the world and allowed me to combine them into one thing. So I absolutely love dance. I love the artistry. I love the creative process. I love how it forms a mind-body connection for people. I love teaching. I actually have a degree in secondary education. I obviously don't use it for that particular. So I love teaching, love dance, and then my 3rd great love is kiddos.
Yeah.
I like working with the younger generation. So owning a dance studio is a great way to combine all of those things.
That is awesome. So you have had kids then that now, when you first started working with them, they were young, they were kids, and now they're adults themselves. So how's that? Because I enjoy coaching football, so I always love seeing my guys that I've coached over the years. You just kind of run into them and they're going to college or they're getting married or
right.
So what's kind of some of the reward of those relationships with those types of kids for you?
I'll tell you something kind of cool about dance, especially if you're on a really cohesive, collaborative, rewarding team. Those friendships that you make on a dance team, you have them forever.
Yeah.
You have them forever. And there's girls, I think this is kind of a crazy way that I see that coming to pass, but I have girls that I taught dance that now bring their own kids to me. So that's a huge circle. It kind of ages me just a bit, but also it's awesome to know that years later we were able to have an impactful relationship enough that they trust me to bring their greatest treasure
their
to me.
kids. So and I kind of always when I talk about my football players, I always talk about them as being my boys. I would say, my boys, and I mean, so you kind of look at these as your kids a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of the things then that you try and do? I mean, because dance and being athletic or just getting the movement, I think that's important, but what are some other things maybe that you guys do there at Eagle Rock?
That's a great question. Glad you asked that.
Yeah.
So we like to pride ourselves on being one of the most well-rounded studios in the area when it comes to actual dance styles. I mean, we've got jazz, lyrical, ballet, point, contemporary, hip-hop, tap, ballroom, acrobatics. We just started a recreational cheer program, boys-only classes. So when it comes to dance, we have got a huge gamut of things. And with that, there's a huge level of how involved do you want to be? Do you want to go 1 time a week? Do you want to go twice? Do you want to go 3 or 4 times and live and breathe at the studio? Which is great, but we like to offer something for everyone's time, commitment, and financial, level that they want to do. And that's great because there's a lot of studios in our area that do that same thing.
Yeah.
We're blessed enough to live in an area with a lot of really awesome people.
Yeah.
Great studios. But the thing that I like to say sets Eagle Rock Dance apart is what's called our core value program. If I could just talk for a minute about that core value program.
I mean, this is because for me, I look at football is fun, winning is great, but at the end of the day, we are using football to teach young men to become fine young men. That's the most fine to me is the emphasis but so you have it a little more defined, it sounds like.
That's exactly it though. So when it comes to dance, there's going to be this itty bitty teeny tiny percentage of kiddos who go on to make dance their career or become a professional dancer, but every single one of those kids is going to grow up to be a member of society, part of their own family. And so what we're trying to do is instill some of these values in kids at a young age through the usage of dance, using dance as a help them just learn how to be better people. So our core value program, it was designed by one of my awesome instructors. Her name is Abby Pincock. And then as management staff, we've refined it and added to it and developed it over the years. And it's basically 11 words that we feel like pack a punch for kids. And they're things like responsibility, dedication, passion, love, service, integrity, resilience. And so each month, one of those words is the theme for that month, and we build mini lessons into our dance classes around that theme.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be giant, just little tiny nuances, just extra support that the kids get outside of their parents to help instill some of these. Some kids have never heard of the word integrity.
Yeah.
Or the first time they hear resilience is when they're in their dance class. It's kind of different.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
But I think it is little things is where it really manifests into bigger things. So in football, I didn't come up with it, but for me, the one thing I want the boys to know by the time they leave with me, their time with me, is the importance of making their bed in the morning.
I love that.
So, and I didn't come up with that. That was an admiral that had a great talk on that.
There's a book
And
on
I
it.
just said, you know what? If you can't make your bed in the morning, then what makes you think you can do anything of consequence? So for me, it's like first thing, and I'll hold them in a stance, a football stance, and it's painful to just sit in a stance, and I just talk about making your bed, eating a good breakfast, staying hydrated, being kind, and that's it, But and so they would get that from me, and I'm not coaching this season, but just time and whatnot. But that was one thing that I still have kids come up and say, "Hey, Coach, I made my bed this morning." So that's like the first thing, and usually in the dialogue when I run into them, that's one of the things I say is, "Hey, did you make your bed this morning?" So,
Oh, that's perfect.
But how you're saying, "Hey, we just focus and it's just a small thing," but that's where the greatness comes from, is those small things of being kind, being having integrity, because they're going to be put in a position during a day where they need to have integrity.
Right.
And so if they aren't, so I just appreciate it that you're there teaching kids things like that, because that's where great things, and especially in our community, great things will come from.
Oh,
so.
yeah, we live in an awesome community.
Yeah.
I've lived in kind of all over the United States for tiny bits of periods of time here or there, and I'm telling you, if I had anywhere that I could choose, I'd come right back to Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
This is a great place to raise kids. The community itself is supportive and thriving and growing. So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So you grew up here?
Yeah, I did.
And went to high school. So what's Idaho Falls like now back to before? Because you were in one of the first classes at Hillcrest, which now Hillcrest has been around for a minute.
Yeah, just a minute.
So anyway, what's it like now versus then?
It's funny you should ask me that, because I was actually just having a conversation with someone about this the other day, about how awesome the 90s were. I don't know what it was about the 90s, but everyone was friends.
Yeah.
And so, let's see, I was the second graduating class of Hillcrest, who graduated in 1994. Went to Bonneville as a sophomore while they were building Hillcrest, grade school there.
Yeah.
And I went to Hillcrest, and I'm telling you, I don't know if it was just our class. I mean, we were friends with everybody. I did student government, I was on the dance team, but I had friends in band. My best friend was a cheerleader.
Yeah.
We had.
You weren't a cheerleader? You look like you would have been a cheerleader.
I was not a cheerleader. No, I was a dancer.
Yeah.
But we were friends with the cheerleaders.
But you were friends with the cheerleaders.
Yeah, I was friends with the cheerleaders, and I don't know. That was something I think was really special. Everybody just. It didn't really matter where your own personal groove was. You could still respect and have friendships with everybody. So that's one thing I actually miss.
Yeah.
Wish we had that a little more.
No, that's and it's still. I mean, we're growing, right, as an area, but it's still got that small townness to it, I guess. But but we are. I mean, the area's expanding, adding more high schools, all that type of stuff. So yeah. Well, that's good. So you're growing this business for 16 years, right? What do you see as what you want for your business, for your employees, for your students? Because I mean, it's not just coming and punching a clock. You had to deal with COVID, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, COVID was crazy.
Well, let's maybe ask that. What did COVID do to your business that made it to where? Because I think COVID is an evolution for businesses. Either we evolve and we make changes, or we just sit back and we're going to get steamrolled.
Yep.
So, but through this COVID, because we had issues in our businesses where we had to be shut down. But through COVID, what were some of the things maybe that you learned? What were some of the things you dealt with? That type of stuff.
Wow. That one definitely goes back to the word resilience for me.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So you're teaching the kids this too, by the way.
Yeah.
So you're living what you're teaching. That's great. That's great.
True. So I have to first and foremost give props to my management staff. So my management staff, literally within a matter of a few days, figured out how to get 70 plus classes online per week.
Yeah.
So for 7 weeks, we ran 70 classes per week. We didn't miss a beat. And now was Zoom the absolute perfect way to enjoy a dance class? No,
probably not.
Not for some people,
right.
Not for a lot of people, not for me, actually, as an instructor. But at least we were providing content. We were providing a way for the kiddos to see each other's faces at a time when, you know, we weren't able to have any social interaction. And it's getting better, thank goodness, but that was rough for a while. And our instructors learned how to teach in new and effective ways. Our instructors had to evolve. They had to do their lesson plans differently. You know, and some days what certain classes needed in their Zoom class was literally just to have 10 minutes to talk.
Yeah.
To talk about their feelings, to vent about how they were handling COVID, to talk about what they were looking forward to. So that's how we handled it. And
I think that's great, because I think a lot of kids have been let down by, in my opinion, you know, it's like whether to start school or not start school, whether to do sports or not do sports. In some parts of the country, not. Right? So, I mean, these are, because what's your age group? Like, what's the youngest group of kids that you have?
3. 3-year-olds on Zoom class.
Yes. but a 3-year-old, that's what their whole world revolves around, is like dance, right? I mean, dance and whatever mom has in store for them that day. But then you take that away, I mean, that just, for a little kid, that just sucks. And they're just looking at adults like, wait, what? And so the fact that, because there probably were dance studios that just said, we're shut down, we're not going to do this. So I think that's amazing that you guys just figured it out. But it's to your team. So what is, I mean, not that you wouldn't have figured it out, you're a smart lady, but why, I mean, putting together a team is one of the hardest things. And I've heard you talk highly of the team that you have at Eagle Rock. So how was that process of even putting that group together? I mean, because there's struggles, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So now that it's kind of put together, what are some of the accolades maybe that you would, so how did you put the team together, and then what are some of the accolades that you would give to your team?
Oh,
Because I'll just say, and I'm sorry, I keep interrupting, but because I'm the worst at telling employees, hey, you're doing a great job. And in fact, I have to remind myself to do that, because they are. They're doing great work, and guys like me don't necessarily give them the recognition that they probably should have, that they deserve, not just have. But anyway, sorry.
No, you're great. Well, I guess it kind of ties back to my big purpose at the studio is to affect as many kids' lives as possible. Initially, that was to affect as many kids' lives positively as possible through dance. And now we're expanding that a little bit. I mean, through ACRO, through our recreational cheer program, we actually are starting a preschool in a couple of weeks. It's a fine arts-based preschool program where kids get dance, art, singing, and theater in addition to a traditional preschool curriculum.
That's awesome.
But all of these things have kind of now just been to affect as many kids' lives as possible positively through a variety of ways, and it takes a team to do that. Like, I'm one person. I can't do a lot. And so what I've done at the studio to try to compile our team there's 3 E words. I want my instructors to be enthusiastic, educated, and efficient. And so I've looked for instructors that do those 3 things. They have a background, they know what they're talking about, but you can have a background and know what you're talking about and not be an effective instructor, not be able to communicate to others. So obviously they have to have that too. And then they have to tie into the culture of our studio. They have to believe in our core value program. They have to believe in the mission and the vision that we're trying to provide for these kids. And I'm telling you, when you open the doors, and that's what you want to come in, a little bit about the power of attraction, I guess. That's what you get.
That's what you get.
And that's how we built our team.
And it sounds like that then, you know, because you mentioned that your team helped put together the Zoom classes, all that stuff got together because you were attracting those type of people to come in. So that's amazing. Good for you. So we just had our first grandchild, little girl.
Oh, congratulations.
And so you're talking about the preschool, because parents want to get there, and even grandparents for that matter, want to see their kids given opportunities to go and learn and be successful and interact with people. So this is kind of a shift then, it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
So why did you think of, hey, I'm going to do a preschool?
A couple of reasons. Call me squirrely or flighty. I don't know what word to use, but I love to have new things to focus on and put my energy towards. And I came across this program. It's called the Bloom Fine Arts Preschool program. It's already a developed and proven curriculum.
So you're not, I believe you could make it up, but you're not just making this up.
Nope, we're not.
Yep.
We're not making it up. The entire school year is planned for you.
Yeah.
Your activities, your newsletters, how to incorporate dance, art, theater, and singing every single day into a preschool curriculum. And the program just kind of spoke to me, so we went for it. Cool thing about it, there's kind of a trend towards all-day kindergarten.
Yeah.
It's kind of going throughout our country. I think it might be a little bit slower to really apply in our area, but eventually I think we're kind of headed there.
Yeah.
So this preschool is a little bit longer than traditional preschools, at really about the same price that most people pay for traditional preschools.
Right.
So the kiddos have just a little edge when it comes to kindergarten readiness as far as their length of day. And then, I mean, everybody knows that the more exposure you have to the arts, the higher your grades are.
Yeah. No,
you know?
I think so.
I mean, whether you even finish school sometimes
Yeah.
has something to do with how exposed you are to arts and sports. And so,
Well, that's exciting. So what's the name of that then?
it's the Bloom Fine Arts Preschool program, and we actually have 2 different age groups. We have a 3-year-old age group on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then 4 and 5 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In fact, we're doing an open house next week on Wednesday night, our studio, which is located on 14th North, for Bloom, if people have some questions or want to check it out.
Well, my little Willow is her name, Willow Green.
Cute.
She's just a month and a half old, maybe something like that. So she's got a little ways to go. But for people that have 3-year-olds, or 2-year-olds, or 3, how do they find it? Just through Eagle Rock, or do you have it all set up on a?
Either way, actually. Yeah. So Bloom Fine Arts Preschool has its own Facebook page. If you want to look for it there, you can find it. It's also tied into our studio website at eaglerockdance.com. You can get the link there, so it's pretty easy to find.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, so again, I met Carrie through this, what is it? It's a mastermind thing.
Group.
She's the only lady in the group. And she puts all these guys in their place on a regular basis.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but anyway, I've just been super impressed with what she's doing, and grateful for people that take effort to mentor and help the youth, because I'm all about the youth too. So anyway, so I'm Tyler Price. This is Carrie Ragan, and check out Bloom. Wait, what's it? Sorry.
You got it. Bloom Fine Arts Preschool.
Fine Arts Preschool, and of course Eagle Rock Dance for boys too. Then you're doing stuff for the boys. So, all right. Anyway, small town Idaho. Way to go, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great day.